So we'll call the meeting to order. You received the minutes of the previous meeting via email. Are there any additions or corrections?
Yep. Make a motion to approve as email.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion to approve the minutes as emailed for the previous meeting. Second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Do we have a proof of publication? I think I read it in the paper, son. I hear a motion to make the proof of publication a matter of record.
Motion, please.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to make the proof of publication a matter of record. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We'll pass that on back to Sharon. Okay, the petition before us this evening is Adams Woodcrest Nursing Home, represented by Brett Miller of the MLS Engineering, requesting site plan review for proposed renovations and additions at 1300 Mercer Avenue, Decatur, Indiana, reference to City Code 150.330. So, Brett, would you like to begin your presentation?
So Woodcrest is looking to do 5 different building additions that are shown on your drawings there. Hopefully you can read the small print there. The ones that's highlighted yellow are 4 additions that they are looking to do immediately based on hopefully approval tonight. They'll get started tomorrow. Those are highlighted in yellow. Basically all around 2,000 square foot additions. We're coming in more with a master plan because without knowing the timing of each of these additions, it'll be easier to come in before and ask for one approval for all of the storm drainage and everything all at once based on the time of year and such. So the 4 highlighted in yellow are, like I said, going to go immediately depending on weather and how construction goes. The large addition would most likely be next. Could also be in simultaneous as the 4,000 square foot addition there on the far east side. With the large addition, we designed a detention pond there on the northwest side of the building. Those calculations were provided to Don, Kurt, and also, since it's dumping into a legal drain, supplied to Paul Nora, County Surveyor. I received an email yesterday from Paul, which I forwarded to Kurt and Don with his approval, basically just saying he approved the plans, build it as designed, basically, summarized in a nutshell. So, that being said, with the time of year, this is kind of being pushed kind of quickly with these footprints to get things in. The larger addition is changing square footage based on what we have shown, and even the detention pond is going to, unfortunately, going to need to be modified based on this square footage. So I'm hoping the board will allow, based on the already approval, any changes that we made be re-forwarded back through Kurt Don and Paul Nor for his approval and not have to come back before this board for that building permit. So asking for a little leniency there granted by you guys. There's just an increase in the, we're showing about a 43,000 square foot building that could, Whitworth Construction's here, could bump up to around 50,000 square feet. So we were given kind of a preliminary footprint on what they thought would be adequate, and obviously that's been tweaked here over the last couple months during the review process. So the building will be need to make some tweaks on that. But really no additional parking. We're just doing an access drive to large addition. Everything's pretty much just being added on in pretty much grass areas and landscape areas around the building. So, being that we're disturbing more than an acre of dirt, we have been given approval for erosion control approval. That was reviewed by Don, and that's been sent in and already completed. So, I can entertain any design questions. I'm a representative from the hospital and the building.
I just have one question, Brett.
Yes.
When you said no additional parking, do you feel comfortable with the current parking? I understand that facility doesn't take or need a lot of parking, but then again, I know parking, I've been out there a few times, and parking is
Sure.
not real plentiful, but
I'm going to defer that question to our hospital representative.
We're actually planning on relaying out the back parking lot so that we'll have more appropriate parking, more efficient use of that space, because at times it is an issue out there. So if we can move some of those cars in the front lot to the back lot, then that should free up the front lot for more space.
yeah, with a facility like this, I don't think we have an ordinance that would require a parking, but I would just hope that you'd be comfortable with your layout. So, I mean, that's my thoughts.
We'll have to look that up. I think as a whole, it would be as a whole on the property, it wouldn't be just in that
The
area.
ordinance, I don't know it by heart, but probably still does have a space per room
Correct.
and possibly an employee add-on to that as a typical ordinance. Honestly, I didn't read it on this. So,
I know we're up to date as far as retail businesses and parking and square footage and that type of thing, but yeah, we may want to check on that, Kurt, to make sure that we comply with our ordinance, or that they do. So,
Well, it's also, like you said, it's going to depend on the amount of rooms. You're talking about jumping 43,000 square feet to possibly 50,000 square feet. That's a little bit of a design change there.
where do they get 50,000 when you add these up? Well, they'd probably come
the
out.
larger addition is...
This addition's going to be made greater than what it's shown here.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Just here.
I don't believe
Okay.
those are increasing room
Yeah, it's
numbers.
out.
So an increase in square footage isn't for room, it's so that we can add cross corridors so that the residents of that area can have access to gardens and stuff outside. We had to elongate the building.
Okay.
And by doing that, that doesn't interfere or cause any changes in terms of the services that the city provides currently, correct?
Correct.
Any further questions at this time?
Just a clarification on the parking rearrangement. You're talking about looking at where your staff is parking and reassigning staff parking and opening up additional
Yes.
visitor parking?
Yes, in the back parking lot, some of the spaces there aren't laid out very well. Some of them turn horizontal. They're not very consistent. So that lot was cabbaged onto over the years and made bigger and bigger. So if it got restriped and repaired in some places, it would fit more cars more efficiently.
They have some parallel parking back there. and some
Okay.
Items like that can be...
Brett, are you okay with, if the Plan Commission gives site plan approval today, agreeing that whatever the parking requirements are, that would be complied with as part of this, or is that going to be a problem?
I don't want...
Yeah, we would comply if there wouldn't be an issue.
There's space to add...
Add more parking if you had to.
Yeah, there was like another 12 acres off to the side.
So, I mean, there's...
Okay.
Nick Nelson, I'm the CIO for the hospital.
Any further questions at this time from anyone on the commission? If not, then we'll hear, is there Are there any comments from people in opposition? Seeing none, we'll go on to, are there any people in attendance that wish to speak in favor? Seeing none, we'll go back to the board's final questions and comments.
Has this been ran by all the department heads, Kurt?
Yes.
Everybody's okay with it?
Everybody's good with it.
Are we approving the back section also, or just the whole things that are highlighted?
On the entire, all of them.
All of it?
Is the construction of everything going to be done within an 18-month period?
Maybe not the 4,000, I don't know. Yeah.
The one off to the east, maybe not, got 4,000. Kind of looks like a pineapple a little bit on that.
Mhm.
That one might not be in that 18-month.
It could be if the hospital decides to approve it right away, then we'll have to approve it.
So you're saying if it's not, we need to come back? to
Right.
this.
That's, I think our ordinance requires that.
Yeah.
Just a question for my own sake. I was out there the other day, and the entrance to the left of the main entrance is all blocked off and fenced off and everything. What are they going to do with that small area?
I'm not sure which entrance you're talking about.
Well, let's see. You've got the one big entrance with the overhead you can drive under, and then to the left to go into Woodcrest, that's all blocked off and fenced off.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about driving entrance, not
No.
building entrance. So that's where those renovations are going for dining activities. At the completion of this, the hood that you drive under will be the entrance to the building. There won't be two entrances any longer. It'll just be the one.
Okay.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Any further questions or comments? Do we need to read, didn't we?
There's really no findings of fact on this, other than it's a preliminary site plan approval, or is it preliminary and final?
He's asking for final.
He's asking for final.
Okay.
So it's up to the board.
So from what I took from that conversation, you're asking for final site plan approval based on approval of department heads as changes are considered or implemented.
Correct.
Donna, you good with this, as far as the site goes?
Yeah, it's not gonna change any of the storm that they're talking about.
Okay.
We feel the concept's not changing for yours, maybe just some technical review, I guess is the reason I was requesting that.
You want to make that a part of the motion, Barry?
If, I will make a motion of that if everybody's in agreement with the wording.
Anyone opposed to the wording of what he has? Okay.
I'll do it again. I'll make the motion for final site plan approval based on approval of department heads as changes are considered or implemented.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. Now, discussion, any questions, comments about the motion?
So as a clarification, if the department heads think it's a substantial deviation, they can refer it back to plan.
That's fine.
That's how I want to do it. If we see something we don't like, we can go back and do that.
So I'll add that additional sentence.
I make one
You agree with that, Steve?
Yes, yes.
I just want to make, tomorrow they want to come in and pull building permits for the 4 items in yellow. I want to make sure they can do that. The only thing that's going to be changing is the large addition. I just want to make sure there's no hiccup tomorrow.
If there's no modifications, then I would assume that it's,
I just want to make,
You're just waiting for the site work
in foundations.
and foundations?
But not the building?
The 4 highlighted in yellow, they want to pour those 4 foundations
We have state releases on this?
We have a state release for foundations and structure. We don't have underground plumbing.
Okay,
So they can
do we
start-
have plans on that?
I haven't delivered them, I can give them that tomorrow.
I need plans on that first.
Probably first of next week, so we review the plans.
But it's not, we're not, we'll pull a permit, but we won't start pouring concrete till we have a permit. We're trying to get ourselves in a position to get it.
Any questions, comments before I call for the question? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So, work with Kurt and Sharon and Don, I guess, and we'll get everything going. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Hopefully it's good for the people of Adams County as they need those facilities. Okay, old business or discussion. Rick, you have anything else that needs to be brought before the group here, the old business?
As far as old business, no. I do have new business, and that has to do with,
Okay.
with Mylar, out at Meadows, Cross Creek. Mylar is gonna need to come before the plan commission for the final plat approval. We don't know if the improvements are complete yet or not as far as utilities and pavement. We just emailed out a Steve Tree on that. But that's gonna be coming. Yeah.
I saw the email you sent out that said,
Actually Sharon sent an email out to Steve asking a list of questions. So, but it's gonna be coming. He had called in here and he wanted, they actually have a duplex out there they wanna start putting up. So we've got questions out front as far as utilities, is the road paved, and everything else. So, yeah, we need as-bills.
Will that have to be reviewed in a meeting, or can the individual planning commission members, so it has to be reviewed in a meeting and,
The Mylar, because that gets recorded.
okay.
Other than that, nothing new. We did have meetings with McDonald's.
With who?
McDonald's, but they're still in the design phases. I guess prior, it would be Wendy's that's finished. Anybody hasn't noticed?
Yeah, Wendy's
It's
is
been
open
packed.
what's that?
Wendy's.
Oh, they did, I haven't been out there.
Cases has started. I was out there most of the day today watching tear tests on the tanks, the gas tanks. And then I got to watch them put them in, back home. About 50 tons of pea gravel. School's coming along pretty good, they're moving pretty good. So, other than that, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just it.
Yeah, it's a piece of cake.
Kurt, you and I had a few minutes of discussion before the meeting about the fact that you were going to be bringing in additional
Yes.
inspection help. Can you update
Yes.
Plan Commission on that?
I've been in contact with my previous employer. They go around the country doing inspections. And once the school gets under roof, it's going to be very chaotic out there. I'm going to have contractors climbing all over each other. So I've contacted NPA, and they've agreed to send someone down once a week, or as I request, to come down and cover the school, or possibly even Woodcrest, once it starts going, to help out. There's just, Sharon can testify to this, it's been very chaotic up here. I haven't spent a whole lot of time in the office. Between the school, Casey's, Wendy's is gone now, but McDonald's will be hitting in. Woodcrest, I've already done one inspection for the renovation to what's existing. Plus, everything going on at Cross Creek, and Grey Goose, and Deer Run. I can't keep on top of it.
I don't know why not.
What's going on at Great Goose? What's going on at the Great Goose?
Individual construction.
Oh, houses, okay.
There's 600 construction out there, yeah.
So Kurt,
And when I do the Sunday afternoon inspections for somebody's porch or decks or whatever.
so the additional people that you need, or person to come down and inspect, that was included in their application to schools as far as monies, right?
Yeah, they're
The
committed.
Permit.
Well,
Right.
can you go into detail on what we discussed about forgiving fees is not allowed by law?
Yes, something we ran into. I know in the beginning for the school, there was talk about waiving the fees. Well, technically, according to our ordinance and state law, we're not allowed to do that. We can get in some serious trouble with the state by doing so. Sharon actually found this out. So it was a good thing we didn't waive any fees on the school. And we actually ran into this with the Woodcrest project. State Board of Accounts, all of our fees are fired. And once we explained that to the hospital, Dane,
Wheeler.
he knew exactly what we were talking about because he used to work for this.
Oh.
It certainly creates a lot of work for your department, but it's great when you think about Decatur and the growth and, things moving in positive.
Fast.
Yeah, I bet.
As development continues, there are going to be more people that are asking about waiving fees and that type of thing. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody was up to date on that information, that that's not an option we have for economic development.
And we are up to speed with surrounding communities as far as that goes.
That's good. That's good you found that out, Sharon. Good job.
Yeah. Anything else to be brought before the group?
New business, then November, each year we have to reappoint people that are going to sit on the board again this year. Typically the mayor does that, city council. I inquired earlier today if there was anybody term that was expiring, and Sharon did the research and she handed out an email to everybody. We have no terms expiring this year, so everybody is on board for another 1, 2, or 3 years. But we've come into situations in the past where we've gone into January and had empty seats, so I just wanted to try to make sure to stay ahead of that.
And sometimes it gets overlooked. You're right, Greg. We've done that before.
Yep.
Greg just stays on top of those things, so.
That's all I've got.
Okay.
He's just waiting so he can boot me off.
Is that what he...
How many more hours?
He's got a little while here.
Got to do the math there real quick.
If there is nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Signify by aye. Okay, opposed? Wishing you all a happy Thanksgiving.